right, good morning. Today I'm going to go over with you the answers to Stone Fox, chapters 1 through 5. I'm going to go over vocabulary, a little bit about your target words, and then I'll go over the quiz time questions. I'm going to start with the vocabulary for chapter 1. Your vocabulary words, these may be in a different order than you have them written down, but that's okay. I gave you the word harmonica. A harmonica is a small musical instrument that you play with your mouth. I gave you the word palomino. A palomino is a type of horse. If you describe the horse more, that's fine. But just so that you know, it's a type of horse. And then I gave you the word examination. In this story, the word examination is used to check something over. It's not a written test. This is when Doc came and examined grandfather. And then your target word was proceeded. Proceeded means to move ahead with something. So the opposite could be either stop or go backwards. And then I'll look over the rest of your target word later. All right, so the quiz time questions. Oh, I think I'll go ahead and do chapter 2 vocabulary also. And then I'll do quiz time chapters 1 and 2. So your vocabulary for chapter 2, you had irrigation. Irrigation is simply a system of watering lawns or crops. A lot of people have sprinklers. That's a kind of irrigation. The next, one of the other words was credit. Credit is it's like having money on an account. Someone had credit at the store. That means you have a certain amount in an account and you can spend. It can also mean that you can spend a certain amount. They let you come into the store and shop and you can pay later. It's kind of like a credit card today. You go and you give them the credit card. You don't actually give them any money, but when your bill comes, then you pay it off. Acre. An acre is a measurement of land. Thought I'd give you bushel, but I don't have it written down here. If I didn't give you bushel, a bushel is just a measure of a crop. It's a certain size. You can buy a bushel of apples. I might not have given you that one. I did give you mature. Mature means fully grown. And harvest. In this story, harvest is used in several words. Harvest can mean the actual crop, like a harvest of corn. It can mean to bring in the crop, go out and harvest it, go out and get it. You see farmers in the field harvesting the corn. That means they're collecting it, bringing it in. And it's also a time of the year. The season is harvest time. All right, and your target word was mended. Mended means fixed. So the opposite, of course, could be broken. You might have a different word for it. All right, let's look at the quiz time questions. Quiz time, remember you never do 1 or 10. So number 2 is grandfather loves to play tricks on little Willie. What is the trick that makes grandfather laugh until he cries? Well, he dresses up as a scarecrow. And Willie, I guess it makes grandfather laugh because Willie laughs. Question 3. Why does little Willie find his plate in the chicken coop one morning? That was because he had been told to get up, and he was warned that if he didn't, he would find his plate in the chicken coop, and he went back to sleep, and grandfather put his plate in the chicken coop, and says little Willie never overslept again. Question 4. What does little Willie say to Doc Smith that causes her to believe that something is seriously wrong with grandfather? Little Willie tells Doc Smith that grandfather went to bed without playing his harmonica. And that makes her worry. Question 5, why do you think grandfather's beard is full of tears as he lies in bed? Now, if you just put because he was crying, okay, but there's a deeper reason. You want to go deeper. The deeper reason is probably that he's sad or depressed or worried about something. And question 6, what does Doc Smith believe is wrong with grandfather? Well, she says that nothing is wrong with grandfather. She thinks that he, for some reason, doesn't want to go on living anymore. Then we move on. That was chapter 1, so if that's all you've done, you should pause. Don't listen to the rest of the answers. If you are ready, here's chapter 2. Question 7. Little Willie and grandfather work out a way to communicate with each other without grandfather talking. How do they do that? Well, they use sign language. They figure out some simple signs, and they do that. Question 8. How do Little Willie and Searchlight manage to harvest the crop of potatoes? Well, Little Willie hooks Searchlight up in a harness, and he pulls Searchlight pulls the plow and they bring in the crop of potatoes. Because remember, they live on a potato farm in Wyoming. And then 9 is tell about Searchlight's intelligence in one well-written sentence. So hopefully you have given a good sentence with the capital letter and punctuation and told how Searchlight is intelligent, something she knows what people are talking about. She seems to listen and respond to what Little Willie wants, something like that. All right, let's go on to chapters 3 and 4, vocabulary first, and pause here if you haven't read them yet. Vocabulary for chapter 3, crisp. In this story, crisp is used as the feeling of the air, cold and sharp and biting, not the texture of a piece of food. A gully. A gully is a small ditch. Staunton has a lot of ditches, you know, where the water runs, and sometimes people burn leaves in them. So it's just a small ditch. Usually it's on the side of a road, but sometimes water makes a gully because of erosion. Then I think you had enabled. Enabled means to